Hello, Jason. Are you letting me say the first hello? Hi, Jason.
Exactly. Exactly.
Friday.
Yeah. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Are we twinning today?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
June 19th.
Happy Juneteenth in the United States. I guess it's a holiday today, only here, but June 19th. How is June already? Like we're 3 weeks down. What is happening?
It's crazy, right? I love how Trish said love starting with laughter. That was that was
We were
because
fighting in the green room, Trish.
that was because
Not
Jess was
fighting.
me, John,
Oh,
Liz, McCrae. Let us know where you're joining from and let us know if you're warm or cold.
look at us. What month is it? We just said it's June. What is happening here?
Yeah, it is June. Germany's in the house.
Linda, awesome.
So many refreshes to get in here today. Huh.
Why? Really? What is wrong with this platform?
Uh, Sunny, warm Reno, very warm. Yeah, Jess, I'm not sure
It's
what's.
very-
Yeah, I don't know. Is it? I have to look at the temperature. Is it just cold? Am I just cold, or is it cold?
Well, I am watching a softball tournament for the rest of the weekend, so I have looked at the forecast, and it
It's
looks like
61 degrees right
yeah,
now.
that's a little chilly, but it will be fine the rest of the weekend. We just have to keep the faith.
Yes, exactly. And then I was outside just a few minutes ago, and it was wet, and I'm wet and cold. So
Oh,
yes, Emily, cold and damp. She said it perfectly. That is exactly how I feel right now.
oh. Well, look at we have a newcomer. Welcome, Hassan. I love it. It is
Yes,
incredible.
anyone new, let us know. Torrance, California is not cold. And I
Yes.
bet it's
Morning on the
is
way to
it,
warm
Torrance
afternoon.
gets June gloom.
Mm.
Do you have June gloom?
Here?
No, you personally.
Oh, no. Oh, like as an emotional state? No, I don't suffer from June gloom. Uh, and I don't have like, I guess seasonal affective disorder. Maybe it works for June too. Some people get that way during the winter, especially in the northern climate like we are. I don't really get affected that way. What is June gloom? Says Jason.
June gloom in Southern California, Jason, or Northern California for that matter, is when like it doesn't get the sun doesn't show up till about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Um, so yeah, like I was in San Francisco last week and it was freezing. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yep, Liz, SoCal and NoCal and NorCal get it totally.
Wow. I'm learning something
You
new.
didn't know that about June gloom? Christine
Not really.
McLean is here, one of my favorite people in the world, and she is from SoCal, so she is June. She's always June gloom. I mean,
Oh,
she's not June gloom. She's used to the June gloom.
used to it.
Yes.
You missed the fog. So it's the fog. It's literally the. Well, I think my daughter Bailey would probably like it. She's the one that when it rains, she says it makes her feel mysterious.
How did your girls get along without you? Well, you were in Europe this week.
We don't want to know. Two of them. I have three daughters. Two of three. What did I just do? Got grounded while I was gone.
Grounded?
Yep.
Wow, is that still a thing? Grounded?
It is in my house.
Do
So
when's the last time that'd be interesting. I wonder how many
I
people
would
still
like to ground myself, just stay home and do nothing.
you you're grounded.
I'm gonna ground myself. Uh, I think my kids forgot that I was however many hours ahead. I was in Stockholm, first time in Stockholm this week, and
Hey, how is Stockholm, by the way?
there's it's still light at 11 o'clock at night. I can attest. So they're in their summer, their midsummer, where they get tons and tons of daylight. But they experience the opposite of that in the winter, where it's obviously dark for the majority of the day. But they're in heaven. I can relate as a Minnesotan, like it's that time of year where they're just in heaven all the time. But I think my kids forgot that I would be awake when it was the middle of the night. for them. And I have Life 360 on my kids. A lot of people know what that is. And they know it. I mean, it's not considered surveillance. It's just how we all track each other's whereabouts. It's not a weird thing for us. And I'm sitting in our opening session at this global talent summit that I was at, and my Life 360 notifications are going crazy. Like everybody's on the move. And it's 3 a.m. at home in Minneapolis. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I pull up a couple of locations. Nobody is where they should be. So I start sending a couple of messages. Ainsley snuck out with her friend for McDonald's, and my other one walked. She was having a sleepover, and they snuck out and walked to the park, and they were swinging. I got a picture of them swinging on the swing set. And I shooed them both home and woke up their dad. He was exhausted. He got no sleep that night trying to wrangle kids. They probably would have gotten away with it if I had not been in Stockholm and seen their little dots moving everywhere.
Wow. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting stuff. They get around 2 out of 3.
I got to come home and wrangle kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Stockholm was great. Let's start. Wow, we're 10 minutes into this, dude. We're late. We're really late. Green, yellow, red. How is everyone? Green, great. Yellow, so-so. Red, not so good. Dennis Hill is here. He's typing. I had an amazing conversation with Dennis about Dennis yesterday.
Wow.
Yes. I hope his ears were ringing because I had a great conversation with none other than Mark Miller, who's going to be a guest here in a few weeks.
Oh,
All
I love
about
it.
Dennis. Greetings from the home of Laverne and Shirley. Jess, do you know where that is?
I was just trying to think, what a great throwback show, number one. I always thought my mom kind of looked like Laverne at one point of her life when I see young pictures of her. Is that like Philadelphia or Pittsburgh? It's like an industrial city that was based in, wasn't
I
it?
was going to say Milwaukee.
Milwaukee? Oh, that sounds right,
I don't
actually.
think it is.
Well, he'll have to tell. Oh, it is Milwaukee. Okay.
Liz said Milwaukee.
How did I not know this? Okay.
Oh, Heather said Milwaukee.
I love it.
Suzanne said Milwaukee. I think it's Milwaukee.
Yes, I think the vote is in. The chat's like 3
I
seconds.
got a cultural reference and you didn't.
I know. That's true.
Yeah.
Beer City. He
What's
calls
your
it Beer
favorite
City.
Laverne and Shirley moment?
Oh, I loved her pin. She wore the L pin. Actually, maybe that's why my mom's name is Luella, and I think she might have had an L brooch as well.
Your mom's name was Cruella?
No. Although I'm sure she's heard that a couple of times in her life.
Luella.
Luella, yes.
The Laverne and Shirley, that whole chocolate part. That's the part I like. Do you remember those chocolates? That was.
I do. Oh my God. I'm going to ground myself and binge Laverne and Shirley, and my mental health will go through the roof, and I'll be so happy.
Can you sing the song?
No, I don't remember. And Cindy saying the intro was fun. As soon as somebody can hum it for me, it'll come right back, I'm sure.
I'm just gonna try. Do 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 do. Oh, is that not Laverne and Shirley? We're gonna make it after all, doing it our way.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, that's I Love Lucy. Who wants to come on camera with us and give us the ditty?
No. Jason's gonna kill us. We gotta move on. I think I was right. Shamia Slamazel. Yes.
Yes.
Do 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 do.
We're gonna make yes.
Oh, chocolates was Lucy.
Oh yeah.
So we got back to the green, yellow, red. Christine is green. Liz is in Milwaukee. Sorry, Jessica's green. You guys were so sweet to me last week. Oh,
Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. Oh my gosh, I am so. Oh, and you're humming Mary Tyler Moore. Oh, we're a mess today.
Tammy's green.
Tammy's green. Tammy, we had Dairy Queen after softball last night. Again.
You'd make a good squiggy for Halloween.
I don't know. Another reference I don't know.
Another pop culture reference that goes right over my head. Yeah, well, luckily you have day jobs. Yeah, exactly. Exactlamungo. So,
Yeah, how do we
oh,
frame
I'm
this?
by the way, I'm green. Thanks for asking, Jess. As usual, uh, I ask you how you are. You don't ask me how I am. Yes, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Yes, good.
I had a
Uh,
oh my god,
well
I had a
prepped today.
great week in Chicago. I had the opportunity to
Oh, yeah.
travel with one of our colleagues, which was amazing. So, yes, had a very great week.
That's good.
Met someone new who has a podcast this morning for coffee at
Mm.
7 a.m. And I love meeting new people, so that was good. And oh yeah, I had a grad party last Friday. I
Oh
mean,
my
I
god.
guess that was after the meetup. That was a fun party, wasn't it?
That was an epic party. No
Thank you
other word
for
for
being your grounded girls.
it. No, Bailey's the golden child.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was what a fantastic party. I hope you're proud of Alex, proud of yourselves. I hope that felt like a perfect bow to tie on all of it.
I have to give my wife Heather all the credit. I
Yeah.
only did one thing, which was find the pedicabs. Which I did see you driving up in a pedicab, and I saw an Instagram of you doing a live feed from the pedicab. So,
Yep. Yeah, it was fun.
good. So let's do one big thing. Everyone, what was your one big thing this week? Accomplishment, something you did. You know, Heather's always on here, like my wife Heather, who doesn't get enough credit for everything she does. She's always on here, but she actually never says anything. Like,
Mhm.
I'd love to hear her one big thing.
Oh,
We sometime we have to have her on live. Like,
yes.
sometime we should have like our partners on with us,
Yeah.
and then they'd all kind of realize how crazy we are, or the people that keep us sane in our life, maybe. Um, but what's everyone's one big thing this week? Jess, you want? I bet yours has something to do with Stockholm, right?
Well, I will share one thing about if you don't know the Future Talent Council, follow them, look them up. They're an incredible organization. They bring together enterprises, the employers we're all part of and talk to all the time. They're squeaky.
Is that what I look like?
I don't know.
Oh, Liz started a new job. A new job.
Okay, I think I have our group Halloween costumes. Our company, when we do Halloween, because we've dressed up before with this community on Halloween, everybody just remind us we're putting a pin in this. We have our group Halloween costumes for this year, Jason. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do Laverne and Shirley. Anyway, Future Talent Council, I was at their Global Talent Summit in Stockholm this week. Incredible. I could say a million things about it. I will say my favorite opening of an event ever. They had a 10-year-old boy named Louis greet us and welcome us and read a speech to us saying, "You're all here to talk about the future of work. I am the future of work. And I hope one day I can thank you for what you did today." He had a beautiful speech. That's the summary of it. I, like, 5 minutes in, I was almost bawling. Like, he was so articulate. He was just, oh my gosh. And to actually bring a 10-year-old on stage and say, do something good while you're all here together. What an absolute brilliant move. And the other reason I love this event is that they actually bring, obviously universities are part of it. It's a consortium think tank, but they bring students and ambassadors from all over the world and like, so incredible. So that's my one big thing, but in particular, Louis opening.
That's awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Charlene, have you seen that name, Charlene, before?
I don't know.
There's so many new people. So we need like
It must be our guest drawing them in.
we need. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what happens. Yeah. Uh, Started doing live radio again at local nonprofit radio
Love it.
station. That is cool. I MC the North American Inspiring Workplace Awards in Chicago. Wow. Jason and I were both in Chicago, and I didn't even know he was there. Bummer. But congratulations, Jason. Janet, your house is back working, which is good. GIS mentoring program. I love that. Suzanne, back on track. Launched new modules for my People Development at Work platform.
I love it.
Elevate your AIQ. I love that. Is officially a registered trademark. Started a new job. Mental health day yesterday, and it really helped. My mom's new boyfriend told her he loves her. Oh my gosh. This is so
Ooh,
cool.
I
Thank you
love
for
it that way. And did she? I want to have this whole conversation, and I know I can't. Like, did she report that? Was that like a big milestone? Was this like a big like they've been waiting to say? I have so many questions.
that is cool. Katie went to Antwerp, Belgium. What's
Wow.
my one big thing?
What is yours?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, what's my one big thing?
No, what's my one big thing?
Oh, your one big thing. Oh, is it the picture I saw of you with the yellow tux?
Yeah,
You know,
actually,
I
that was a great thing. I had the opportunity to co-present with Jesse Cole, and for those of you that don't know Jesse Cole, Jesse is the owner of the Savannah Bananas, and been a big fan of the work that Jesse's done for a long time, and you know it doesn't beat Christine's. Christine's is so good, but Jesse Cole runs an organization called Fans First Entertainment, and one of the things I love about Jesse is he's very, very focused on everything related to experience. And Jesse and I were able to work with an organization this week who I'll just say is struggling with their their customer experience, and is looking at ways to reinvigorate what that customer experience looks like.
mm,
So that the combination of Jesse talking about everything from every baseball game can't be more than 2 hours. Every single event they try 75 new things and only two of them stick. Um, Jesse, as the owner, spends at least 2 innings in the upper deck trying to put himself in the perspective of a fan that is sitting in the upper deck,
wow.
um, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you that never have gotten a chance to hear Jesse Cole, look at him. Does some great podcasts. He's on YouTube, and even if you don't do, even if you're not a baseball fan, lots to learn about fans first. And not to give too much away, but some cool collaboration, I think, in the future between what some of the stuff we're doing and what Jesse's doing. So there's a lot of correlations between fan experience and employee experience and human experience, and we had some really good conversations there about that. So
So cool.
stay tuned. But that was really, really fun. The other thing I'll just say really quickly about my one big thing is I got to work with an organization who I love, as you know, Jess, I love working with companies who are in the middle of reinvention. And when you can watch people's eyes reimagine
Mm,
and and not be like tantalized by AI, but to understand what it means to reimagine in a world where there are ways to work different than there have been in the past. There's probably nothing more rewarding than that. So I'd say that is um, definitely one of my one big things this week. I've had a
that
lot of one big things this week. I created a new program for College of Charleston starting in August, um, around entrepreneurship and happiness, um,
mm,
that I will talk more about in the fall. But anyway, it's all good. And yes, happy Father's Day, Josh. Thanks for saying that. And Laurel,
yes.
the Savannah Bananas have a 5 million person waiting list to get tickets to their events.
I know, I'm on it. I've been wanting to go to one of those games for a long time.
Guess
Like,
what?
I
We're
what an
going.
ex
They're coming here August 7th, 8th, and 9th, and we're now going to go. So
amazing.
yes, fine. Thank you, Dennis, for sharing that link. I appreciate that.
Very cool.
Speaking of experience, let's bring on our guest, Jess.
Yes. I'm so excited Jason Lauritsen is here. It's crazy how little we repeat guests. Because
Episode 312. Yes, and he
312.
he was on like 80.
I know, like we had him on so long ago, and I love Jason. I always love opportunities to catch up with
You just
him.
like the name?
Yep, for sure. um, but I love it when I get the chance to hear what he is up to, because he's always up to something good. He's always been around, focused on managers and culture and enabling people, certainly employee engagement, all of that, but not the way we used to talk about it, old survey, stuff. And so I had a chance to hear a little bit more of his current thinking at WorkHuman. We were both at WorkHuman Live together a couple of months ago. And I think it's important thinking to bring front and center. He's always got fresh perspective. I should stop yapping and see if I'm the one bringing him on. um, but yeah, so Jason's got some new research that he's going to share with us as soon as he pops on.
Am I supposed to know what this freak flags is?
Let me see.
Josh
Hey,
just
hey.
said freak flags out.
That's a throwback.
Talent Anarchy. He knows an old reference, Jason, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
Josh is an OG, man. Josh and I go way back. He's seen some of the early work when Joe and I were running around, talent anarchists back in the day, talking about freak flags.
I love it.
Every day I just become more and more irrelevant, Jason. I really cultural things or old things I can't keep up.
There is literally a handful of people on the planet that know that reference. So I think you're good, Jason. I don't think this one goes in that category.
Very niche.
Well,
a niche.
Yeah, that's just because he's so old. OG is old.
That was a deep cut.
Is OG old guy? OG is old guy, right?
Original gangster, man.
I know. I just have to give rock shit.
We love the OGs, man.
Anyway, Jason, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And the Savannah Bananas are everywhere. Like, they were just in Nebraska. They played 2 games. One of them they played at Memorial Stadium, where the Huskers played and sold it out. It's like 80,000 tickets. It's insane. It's amazing.
All about it.
It's amazing.
I heard all about it. He was very, very proud of that. That even in Nebraska, he said, we were able to sell out 80,000 people.
Even
did he not think Nebraska had 80,000 people? Nebraska's a great place for baseball.
We show up for everything sports related. Like, just bring it here. We sell it out every time. It's just like, I don't know why that's surprising.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And by the way, you look younger.
Look at that.
I think your eyes are going, Jason, to be honest. I was just telling my wife, I said, I think the last 6 months have actually turned this beard like twice as gray. So that cannot be possible.
Oh, you do. I mean, I wish I had I could find it, but I'm not going to take the time. Find that when you were on last, but you look younger.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Must be your brain working.
I'll take it.
Things, right?
It's lighting. I think it's just lighting.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I don't.
So what's up? What's up? Tell us. Tell us the news. What are you up to? What are you doing? Who are you?
Well, I mean,
in the space for everyone who doesn't know you.
Well, I don't know. What's the short version? The short version is about, I was just talking to somebody this morning, kind of telling the origin story. And it's always fun to kind of reconnect to that, because this whole journey for me started back in 1999 or so. I was an executive recruiter, and that was one of my very first jobs. I was in sales, and then I got into recruiting, not knowing what I was getting into, and realized that, as a recruiter, you get to talk to lots of people about their work experience. And then you get to kind of peek inside of organizations with your clients about what's going on. And dysfunction seemed to be everywhere. And I just was like, why does it have to be so broken everywhere? Like, it was just insane to me. And eventually I moved from there inside of the organization, for 10 years as an HR executive, because I felt like I needed to do the work. And in the course of doing that work of trying to make things better internally, I realized that, all of the suffering that employees go through is completely unnecessary. And it's entirely created by organizational and leadership decisions. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can get optimal performance and create an experience that is good for people. And I saw it, we did it, I knew it was possible. And so then the rest of my career has basically been trying to show people how that works and helping them do that if they're so motivated. It's not easy, but it definitely is possible, as you guys well know. And so that's the journey I've been on the last 10 years, out on my own, working with organizations, helping them kind of figure out how to create those kinds of organizations that are both good for organizational performance and for people. Because when you figure that out, then things get pretty fun and they get pretty rewarding.
So, Jason, I was just at a coffee conversation. Wow, Liz Davis, you are her new superhero.
Thanks, Liz. That's awesome.
Well, I know you say that, Liz.
I'm not even my kid's superhero.
Yeah, but just the statement, all of employee suffering is completely unnecessary. Like I hope everybody can agree with that. I wonder if everybody agrees with that. Unnecessary and avoidable,
Yep.
and are you motivated to fix that or do something about that? And what does that require? And like the yes to all of that, but just agreeing with that belief statement right there is everything.
So I'm going to play a little devil advocate here.
Let's do it.
Just because we have to.
Yeah.
How much? I'm actually sick of hearing employees bitch.
Ooh, stirring.
Okay.
So I want to know how much of employee suffering is self-induced because of their mindset versus how much are we going to blame the employer? Because and just really quick, one more thing about, and then I'll shut up because I'd love to hear you speak about this. I spent 2 days with a company this week where the employees were self-induced not happy because there was change going on around them. And there's a point where all of us are going to have to pull up our big girl and big boy pants and say, like, there's a lot of change going on. And are we going to, woe is me, suffer? Or are we going to say, let's frickin' kick ass and take the change and turn into something positive?
So I think part of this is just the words we're using, right? I think suffering, I guess, in my mind is, so much of the, showing up to work every day with, in an environment where I feel like nobody even knows I'm there, right? Or acknowledges my existence or that I contribute, or, feeling I'm invisible at work, or feeling like my work doesn't matter, or having an asshole for a boss, or all of these things that are real suffering. I think sometimes we mistake that for discomfort. Discomfort is not suffering. Discomfort is part of growth. Discomfort is part of being human. Discomfort is part of how we move through the world. And actually, I was just having another conversation before this where I was talking with a friend who leads an HR organization, and he said one of their challenges they're working through right now is, he said, we have a really, really nice workforce, like so nice. And he said, our job right now is we're trying to convert them from nice to kind, because nice is counterproductive. Nice is we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. Kind is, listen, we have to be uncomfortable, because if, his example was, if you see somebody trapped under a rock, are you going to crawl under the rock and like chat with them about it? Or are you going to get the rock off of them? He's like, kind is getting the rock off of them. He's like, and so so I think that's what this is about. So I think there has to be a tolerance for discomfort.
I really like how you said that. Suffering and discomfort are two different things.
Yeah. but a lot of people think when they are in discomfort, they're suffering. And you're like, okay, let's be real. And so that's where I think you can still, like, that's where the kindness comes in. That's where really caring for people. So, when you create a great organization that's, whatever adjective we're going to use, people first or human first or whatever we're going to say it is, that doesn't mean that people are comfortable all the time. I mean, those organizations have psychological safety and they have productive conflict, and people are you get into discomfort when you are working through things, or you're being challenged, or you're going through change. Like, all of that's okay. That it's what we do around that, how we support people through that, so we don't let them set up camp in discomfort for years.
So, what are symptoms of suffering? Like, how can I tell if my organization's not comfortable versus suffering?
Well, I think suffering tends to lead to, that's a really good question. And I don't know that I have a cleanly thought out, or sort of a perfect definition on this, but I would say that I think suffering starts to, have negative implications for the individual, in terms of, like, I think if you're suffering, there are implications for you relative to your, financial well-being, your mental health, your physical well-being, your relationships with others. There's a sort of an actual, measurable impact on the individual when you're suffering, that's being created or caused by the organization. And so I think, and honestly, that's part of how, like, this is what I've seen, we've seen so many of these things, right? And we've probably all lived through them. There's a real toll that it takes. That's not, being discomfort makes you shift in your seat. When you are suffering, that goes home with you and impacts how you're showing up in relationships with other people. I think it impacts a lot of things. So I don't know that that's how, I'm sure there's probably a cleaner definition of that, but that's how I think
I
about
don't.
it.
I mean, once again, the concept here of our community is to be a little bit messy and share together. So, like, I
Mhm.
like that. People are putting in the chat what are symptoms, quote unquote, of suffering.
Yep.
Dorothy just put lack of engagement, low productivity, anxiety, discomfort. Being able to share safely, what that is.
Yeah.
Beth said bitching. I
Yeah.
and in Jason, I mean, I think what's really Jess, I'm sorry, just one more thing, and I'll let you jump in. Sorry, I could talk to Jason forever. The other thing is that what's the ROI or negative ROI of suffering?
Well, th- th- that's why we do the work that we do. That's why, and that's actually what I'm here to talk about today, is I think we're starting to make some of that visible. I
Yep.
think so often you don't see it, right? Because what's happening is you've got productivity and performance and creativity and innovation just bleeding, right? Bleeding out the organization. You're not going to see it. You don't know that you're losing it oftentimes because you've been operating. I mean, this was the biggest aha moment for me. I think in my career, where I sort of came to understand this, was that I went from working for an organization for 3.5 years or so, and this was sort of when my light went off of what was possible. We did some really incredible work there. That was in 3 years, we doubled revenue per employee while we cut turnover by like 2/3. And, like, engagement was, like, all the things we showed that you could do it. And then we got acquired. Like, the company got so profitable and it was privately held, and there was an ESOP program, and the CEO owner felt like he had to sell it because it had become so valuable. It was going to change so many people's lives. And so he sold it. And then we became part of a company that literally had built into their business model. They wouldn't have said this. I'm going to translate this into Jason speak, but, like, they literally had not giving a shit about human beings built into their business model. So we went from like trying to maximize, we were a call center business and we were maximizing for retention because we knew that produced better performance and that created better margins. These guys just in their proposals would price it such that they'd price it for 250% turnover on an annual basis, because that way we could just keep not giving a shit and we'll just keep cycling people through. And the suffering didn't, like, they were trying to price themselves out of the suffering. And so I think that's why you just don't, sometimes organizations don't see it, because it's part of their business model. Like sucking as an employer is built into how they do things. And so it's, I don't know what the quantifiable number is in that, but like, it's a real thing. It's just, they don't usually see it until it gets, you can show evidence of it someplace else, but they're just used to it.
So I just went to the Google machine and asked what the opposite term of suffering is.
Yep.
The good old Google machine. The opposite of suffering generally encompasses states of well-being, including joy, happiness, pleasure, and contentment. I don't know a single organization. I'll just be dramatic and say, I don't know, maybe there are a few, but there aren't that many organizations, to your point just now, Jason, that have their business model designed around joy, happiness, pleasure, and contentment as it relates to their workforce or even their customer experience. Maybe they say their customer experience. Maybe Savannah Bananas says, yes, we want this to be our experience, and everything passes or fails that test. But we rarely, even if you go that far with how you actually service customers, we rarely apply that model to our employees. So you have to, and I would go so far as to say business performance usually comes at human cost. We work in a model designed on extraction of value for humans without necessarily designing for replacement of value, equal or more value than what we took. So to your point, it's one thing to say it, but it's one thing to promise it, design it, invest in it. And I don't know that many people even would say that should be part of a business model.
Yeah, I think that's I do think there's a context situation in this. Like, it is work. There is, like it is a different kind of thing and different kinds of work. I'm sure you could have a bar for joy, I guess, in terms of like setting a standard, but that feels like a pretty high standard. And I don't know if it needs to be joy. I think, I saw flourishing, thriving, there's some words that probably feel better. I think, oftentimes it's like, if I'm leaving, like, let's just be, if we have very low expectations, let's just say, how about going to work doesn't diminish me?
Right.
Like if I leave, like if we're just even, when I leave work on that day, I haven't been diminished in any way. I actually am at least at the same baseline or better.
Yeah.
That probably would maybe at work, that's a standard of non-suffering. Right. And so, and even just getting suffering out is a pretty low bar. Like, how about we just stop with that? And so, and I think chasing that has been, if we back up, right, this was sort of the big insight for me that changed my work, was understanding that in this work that we're doing organizationally, this was when I was working at Quantum and I had the data to look at and whatever. And it sort of became clear to me that all this data that we've been collecting on employee experience and engagement and satisfaction for decades is telling us that employees experience work as a relationship. And so for me to feel like I'm in the goal is, how do we create an experience that feels like a healthy relationship for the employee on a day-to-day basis? And, not every day is a great day, but on the whole, you want to be in a relationship where, like I said, a healthy relationship is one where I feel like I'm appreciated and valued and trusted and cared for. And it's also reciprocal. And so that's the piece of it that has to work. And so I think from a lot of the suffering, the heart of the suffering is that employees are showing up to this relationship and they're being treated like a mechanism of production, right? They're being treated like a machine, or they're being treated like they're contract worker and we're just going to, extract as much as we can from you, to your point. And so that's why it feels like garbage. So,
I
but we
love
can fix it.
John's quote, golden, the last sentence.
Is that why you were grinning, Jess? Because like I read that whole quote and that last sentence like made me squirm. People are waking up to realization that they sacrificed their best years to a false god.
I think we're making shitty promises to each other, to be honest. Employees with their value prop and their employer brand and their go to any company career site, do your best work here, sense of fulfillment, belonging, all the stuff we promise. We don't actually put our money where our mouth is. And employees who believe that, and to John's point, rely on that for purpose, fulfillment, thriving, flourishing, forget about equal pay.
Yeah, right.
Just pay people well. Maybe they would.
You probably study this more than almost anyone in the world.
Yeah.
Like, what percentage of companies would you say people aren't suffering? Well, it's not the right way to ask the question, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't.
Where they value their people more than harm their people.
I think it's, that's like asking like how many people are in, good marriages. Like,
well, for those people that are not, can you give them some encouragement that there are companies out there?
There are. I mean, like I said, this week Wednesday, I was in, I've been partnered. I've been doing work with Inspiring Workplaces for a long time, and they somehow keep convincing me to come and MC, which is harder work than it looks like. And it's so fun to be there. These are people that like, they're so excited. Like there's so much energy being put into the experience they're creating for people. I'm associated with a whole bunch of different groups. Quantum Workplace had the Best Place to Work program, so we got to see that. I now have been doing some work with the USA Today Top Workplaces folks. I do work with the Inspiring Workplaces folks. There's more companies out there that I think it's a spectrum, right? And I think at least what I'm finding, and sort of our business is designed around sort of helping. There's the companies that are getting it and doing it. And I don't know what percent, I can't tell you what percentage that is. I'd be just speculating because it's a spectrum, but I would say there's more than you think that are doing it right. You just oftentimes you don't hear a lot about them because people aren't moving around. They're not leaving. They come and stay. They're not making a lot of noise. But then there's a bunch of, I think in the middle that have leaders that care. And they're doing some things right, but they don't really know how to do this because this is a very different way of doing business. And that's kind of what our business is designed around doing, is helping those leaders figure it out, actually put it into work. And then there's still a lot of bad ones. I think probably half of employers out there, and maybe that's generous, are still in a model that creates way more suffering than is valuable, and it's hurting their performance. I mean, it's hurting their outcomes. I wish they understood that, but I think there's more good than we think.
I would imagine in those employers who aren't doing it right, it would be lazy probably to assume that's for lack of intention. It might not even be because they don't care. It's taking the time, pausing long enough, even having a set of definitions and a way to address. Like, I think we just most employers get so heads down in the busy work and the day to day, and they don't pause enough to say, wait, what are we doing here? How are our people? That's a very intentional reflection to make, however often you need to make it, or at least having the right sort of set of standards and measurements to know, like, even if you were to glance at a dashboard and see things going in the wrong direction, wait, how are we going to remedy this while we keep producing and keeping the lights on?
Yeah, it's translating that intention into an organizational sort of system that does it consistently is not easy work. And so you're right. But I would say, I think, I don't know that maybe this is my optimist speaking, but I think there's more leaders, increasingly more leaders that actually do care about people. I think there's more leaders. I think a lot of leaders, we beat up on leaders. I get in that sort of get on a roll sometimes too. And we beat up on leaders. I think there's a lot of leaders that care. They just don't know how to do the work. They don't know how to take that intention, to your point, and put the effort in, slow down and do the hard work. They either don't know how, they don't make the time, they don't think they have the time, whatever it is. And so, I don't know. I think there's more good companies out there than people understand, particularly if you are in a bad company. It feels like all of them suck.
I love.
Oh, sorry, Jess.
Go ahead. I was wondering, like, to Liz's question, again, back to business model, private equity versus public versus.
Oh, that's a really good question. That's a really good question.
Throw in.
And actually, I'll tie my question into it. So, just how do companies get so bad? Like what is it? What drives that? I mean, like I said, the coffee I was just at that literally just ended like 10 minutes before this call. We were talking about someone who left the company he was at, and he was sharing with me that leadership basically disrespected everything, and he was pushing for change, and they were pushing back against change, and basically to the point. And this is happening a lot right now in the AI world, where employees are saying we have to be doing this, leaders are saying we can't do this, and I mean, so is it, and that stat that someone just put in I'm sorry, Dorothy, 21 to 24% of workers worldwide feel highly engaged or enthusiastic. We see the trust the trust level lower than ever before. How do companies get to this point? Is it just being old? Or is it not care? I mean, is it being too financially driven? I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
I mean, I think that's I think a really complex question. And I think there's a lot of things that contribute to that. I think fundamentally, at least personally, one of my, I guess, theses about this is that the model of management that most organizations are running today still was born in the Industrial Revolution 150 plus years ago. And it was designed at a time when, I mean, Gary Hamel's the one that put it the best, is like management was born in a time where we were trying to get humans to behave like semi-programmable robots. That was the intent of management. And management systems were designed to kind of enforce that. And so, and we've never really reset from that. And so, like, the model, Jess, you said it, like, it's designed to be extractive. It started that way. We've never reset it. So I think we have generations of leaders that were born out of that. They don't know anything different. We don't interrupt the cycle with, I mean, a lot of traditional leadership development was just helping you learn how to be better at being extractive without it feeling mean. And so I think it takes it's courageous. It's a courageous act to build an organization that sort of bucks the norm, right? That goes in a different direction. And I think if you want to find where the really cool, where I think the future of work lives in small organizations. It's always born in small organizations. And that's where, young, courageous leaders say, like, screw it, I'm not doing that. That's bullshit. I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to double down on people. And then they find a different way. And then that gets successful enough that other people start copying it. I think in time that'll scale. I think we have a generation, particularly I think we're also surviving the demographics worked against us in that way with the boomers and the numbers, and it sort of just held the line on crappy management practices. But I think we'll increasingly see that fall away. And I also have great hope that, I don't know how you guys feel with your kids, but our kids just aren't going to put up with this shit.
Right.
Like they just, they're not. And the younger generation gives me a lot of hope because they're willing to be like, I mean, they're going to bitch and they're going to leave. And they're going to, when the economy's not always going to be rough, they're going to have options. And so I don't know. I think the forces will shift.
Yeah, Jason, I love that. And just so you know, I always love our community, and we could make t-shirts. We could probably come up with 3 great t-shirts every week. I just have to read what Lynn said. What drives bad companies? ? Stupid people. For heaven's sake, principles of basic human respect have been around
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
If you love money more than you love people, you suck.
Or
Pretty
to each
straight.
their own, but don't lead a company promising to take care of people. I love Patricia's comment. If you scroll up a bit, a term I have held on to for years is talent sensitivity. On the low end of the continuum, employees are cogs. On the high end, they're uniquely qualified and valued employees. I think we'll see a lot of new reality as to where employees fall in the continuum as we continue on our AI journey. I could not agree. If I can like 1010x, like love
Yep.
and heart that, I completely agree. This is a reckoning period where we'll see what companies actually value.
Well, and I think, and I know, the reason I'd reached out because we had just finished doing this new research, and I think the research is, I think part of like this kind of work, and I know there's other data that's, different kinds of data that does this, but I think what it feels like to me is what we saw in the data is hopeful, and I think it starts to make visible the invisible things, and it starts to help us make the case. And so, for example, I mean, just just so you know, like what I'm about to share is coming from something called the Human Connection Study. We just published it in the last couple weeks. I will share the report here in a second. I'll just drop it in the chat, so whoever wants it can take a look. But ultimately, this study involved over 286,000 employee responses across over 1,600 companies, and so it's a sizable sample. And one of the headlines that came out of it, so I'll give you the very short version of it, is that what we found was, and I think this was in the promo, that we were looking to understand connection, but one of the things that sort of hit us right between the eyes was the impact is that connected employees, those that rated as highly connected, were also showed up as being, 6.7 times more motivated at work. They were 7 times more likely likely to recommend you as a great place to work. That connection accounted for over half of the variation in things like motivation and inclusion and whether my work feels meaningful. And so that was like, okay, wait a minute. Most organizations are treating connection as a byproduct of experience. And what we believe this data shows is that connection is upstream of performance. It is, like the way we're describing it, what we think this shows is connection is the energy of performance. It provides kind of the energy that powers performance inside the organization. And there's a bunch of stuff in there we learned about how connection works that I think is interesting, in that it's not just about relationships, but it's also about meaning and significance. There's, like human connection. Yes, on relationships, we need relationships, but also the thing that powers performance outcomes from a connection perspective is actually more strongly related to or correlated to whether I feel a connection to the direction and purpose of the organization, and whether I feel like my work matters. And so there's some really interesting stuff. So the connection is something that, when we talk about how do we get these people that that are building these shitty organizations where people are suffering, I think having a story and having a data story to tell about, like, well, actually, when we build an organization where people feel connected to each other, to their manager, to where we're going and what we're doing, and they feel like their work matters, that drives performance. That's going to elevate us as an organization, those outcomes, and being able to show that. And I think part of winning this, and this is why I keep chasing, I love research and I keep chasing, research, is we need to be able to show that story and tell that story in a way that feels more tangible to leaders, because otherwise, it's trapped in the same conversation that engagement's been trapped in for however long, right? It feels like a touchy-feely thing that HR cares about. But I think connection is something everybody understands and can relate to. And it's, at least what I believe our report shows, is it's an incredibly powerful lever, maybe one of the most powerful levers that a leadership group has if they want to level up performance in the organization, but do it in a way that creates a culture that will attract and retain people. It's like I think it's kind of the variable that needs more focus, and it's just not getting it.
Jason, I know that we're almost out of time, but I want to like really quickly, the connection to manager piece
Yeah.
is
Yep.
so crucial. And I could talk about the art return to office stuff all day long in here, but the connection to manager thing, how do managers learn to build connection? Like, what's the best way, do you think? Because I think that's just a lot. I mean, I think that's hard.
It is.
I mean,
It
it's not
is.
something that's taught in college.
No. Well, I mean, the reason managers struggle to build connection is because people lack relationship skills. Like we don't teach
You can
people.
stop right there. Yeah.
I mean that like, and so the way what we found were the things that showed up in phase one of the research in terms of when people talked about like what really mattered from a like connection with manager and connection with other people is like being seen, like being actually seen as who you are by another human being. That's like the sort of most core spark of connection that there is. And so from a manager perspective, the two things that showed up that sort of drive at least what emerged from our research was the two key things were my manager. I feel like as an employee, I feel like my manager genuinely listens to me and I feel safe. Like I can tell the truth without fear to my manager. Those are the two things. Well, I mean, these are general relational skills, right? These are the same kinds of skills that we need for any kind of relationship to have a really healthy relationship. And so I think the profound sort of finding of this, and this is what I've been preaching for years. It just sort of shows up again here is we need to get over ourselves and what people should have to be taught or should know already and be like, people just don't know. We don't teach people how to be in relationship in elementary schools. We don't do it in high schools. We don't do it in college. We don't do it anywhere. You're just kind of left to figure that shit out on your own. And it's like, we need, if we got serious about really helping people with the basic skills, like teach them how to listen better, teach them how to see people, teach them how to ask questions and be curious. If we would teach those basic things at work so that they could practice building better relationships at work, the whole world gets better, right? The whole world. So this is, for me, it's kind of a righteous quest because I think if we can fix work, if we can do this work at work, if we can teach organizations and people how to find connection at work, then I think we can start finding more connection again in our communities and in the rest of our lives. And so the answer is relationship skills, Jason. I think it's teaching them, giving them places to practice it. I'm a big fan of peer coaching, especially at the manager level. So give them skills and tools and then pair them up to go practice with each other so that they can do it in a safe environment before then they try it. Cause I think for managers too, managers get beat up so much and we put so much on them that I think their conversations with employees feel so high stakes that they end up playing safe and they don't really step into the relationship. Like I think sometimes we're actually putting handcuffs on them that make them unlikely to do the things that actually would build connection. So that was a long answer. Sorry.
No, it's such a great answer. And there's such great comments in this chat.
I know.
We need to, Jess, I'm going to do something over the weekend. I want to marry this transcript of this with all the comments in the chat and Jason's report and
Totally.
get something out because this is such a rich conversation. And and once again, I'm not trying to be not just blowing smoke, but Jason, the chat here has been so valuable. This is as rich as this chat has been.
Totally.
For the 12 episodes we've done this. So what a great group today.
I feel some FOMO because I can't be in the chat. So I'm looking forward to going back and reading, catching up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Go,
Well,
go
and
ahead.
let me put like I feel, I hope this is clear. I'm deeply passionate about this topic. I love talking about this topic. So if there's anybody that's here that wants to have a conversation about the report or about these details, like hit me up, find me on LinkedIn, send me a message. We'll schedule some time. Like I will make time to talk about this because it's just such a, I'm really bullish. I'm excited about this research and I'm excited to get it out because I think we can use it as leverage to move the needle.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing it to us. We'll make sure we have the Circle platform for the community members as well. We'll drop that PDF of the research into the community too, so everybody can access it there along with the replay. Thank you for sharing this with us today.
Thank you. It's always fun to chat with both of you. So anytime.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really, really appreciate having you being here. And I hope you have
My
a great
pleasure.
weekend.
Yep. You too.
Thank you,
Amazing.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.